Hello, Miami. This is 305 Sports Now, your home podcast and channel for all things Miami sports related. I am Will, and we are officially live here at 305 Sports Now as I'll be covering the battle between the Wolfpack and the Miami Hurricanes, as it will be in a little bit over an hour. The Miami Hurricanes will take on NC State to pretty much try to get another win, try to go 7-2, for the season overall, and still try to go for second place over here in the ACC. Well, hopefully, some more things could happen, but let's just see what happens. Let's take it one game at a time. Okay, so a little bit I'm going to talk about today is some keys to the game. Some players on both sides we're going to talk about, and then I will love to address your comments as well, your questions of what do you think is going to happen as well, and then give some good and some bad of what I think about both teams. Okay, so the first thing I really want to talk about is just the Miami Hurricanes. Okay, I want to break down the Canes a little bit and say that what really needs to happen is we got to see Tyler Van Dyke, man. We got to see Tyler Van Dyke just in general, just light it up a bit. Okay, we want to see Tyler Van Dyke. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it, Toby. Thank you very much. I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much for commenting and chiming in. Right, we're also on Twitter, so if you want to look at me on Twitter as well, or X, whatever you want to call it, jump on there as well. Thank you so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. All right. So I just want to go a little bit over TVD, man. Some things that need to happen is, first of all, before I talk about TVD, I want to break down the game in general. Number one, offensive line, right? Offensive line has got to be absolutely dominant in this game. The Miami Hurricanes have to run the football. The Miami Hurricanes have to run the football very well. This is a very athletic defensive line that we'll be facing against NC State. Their defense is actually miles ahead of their offense, as I'll go over the offense a little bit, as well. But Miami's defensive line has got to dominate. They have to be pretty much in Clemson mode. Put in situations where NC State does have to play man-to-man against the Miami Hurricanes, because that is where TVD is really good at. Where TVD's been struggling has been in zone coverages, all right? When teams go into zone and so on and cover areas of the field, TVD that's where he makes a lot of mistakes. Yes, I know the keying into Xavier Restrepo is a problem for a lot of people, but the bottom line is that I will say this though, he could be pretty strong, in terms of getting the ball. Restrepo does get the job done. And last week, I will say, against the last week, the interception and the open situation and whatnot. But I will say this, that Xavier Restrepo, if he catches that ball, either Miami gets a touchdown out of it, or he gets pretty much deep into opponent field position, like pretty much at the 5-yard line. It's pretty much what I think would have happened. Thank you so much, Toby. I think would have happened. But TVD underthrows that ball. He might be injured or maybe suffering, from a finger injury as well. The leg may still be bothering. That ball did not have enough lift into it or rip into it, and also had way too much air under it, which allowed the defender to make a play on it, right? TVD almost had 3 interceptions. If he's hurt, he's got to manage the ball better. In that situation that I'm referring to, Mark Fletcher was wide open in the flat. He could have easily gotten to Fletcher. Fletcher would have gotten that first down. And also Brashard Smith was also open for a short swing pass as well. If Brashard Smith gets that ball, what ends up happening is that he makes a play on it. He's able to probably beat the defender and get some yards out of it as well. So TVD's got to be very careful with the football. NC State will capitalize on mistakes. So that's one thing we have to do. On defense, the Canes in general have got to pretty much shut it down, all right? Brennan Armstrong, the former standout for Virginia, who transferred to NC State, is no longer the starting quarterback for the NC State Wolfpack. It is going to be true sophomore MJ Morris. MJ Morris and Brennan Armstrong, that's been much of a difference between the two, I will say, in terms of completion percentage. Before he was benched, Brennan Armstrong had a 58% completion percentage with 5 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Was not taking care of the ball well. That's a major issue, okay? MJ comes in, 56%, 6 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. So these two guys can have turnover the ball. Miami has got to force turnovers, has got to put and sit in a position where they're in good field position and they're able to do the job, all right, as well. So that's just a couple things I want to talk about. But for the Miami Hurricanes, they also have to neutralize, their stud wide receiver, Kevin Concepcion. Kevin Concepcion is their leading receiver with 42 catches, 493 yards, and 6 six touchdowns, averaging 11 yards a pop per reception. You neutralize that kid. NC State really has no offense. The leading rusher of that team was Brennan Armstrong. And Miami's defensive line has done a good job against the running game this season, with the exception of the North Carolina game. I will say, they've done a pretty solid job with the running game. Okay, so this is the game where I will see. I think LT3 is gonna step up a bit. He's been playing really well. Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain has got to make MJ Morris's life a living hell. I think he's always been doing that. 6.5 sacks for the season. Should be more. I stand by should be more. Ruben Bain should have at least 11 sacks. All right, Canes fans out there, you have to agree with me on this. Ruben Bain should have at least 11 sacks. So the Miami Dolphin defense, I do believe will have Miami Hurricanes defense, I believe will have a very solid game. It's a little bit chilly up there, a little cooler, not too bad for our Canes. I think they will dominate this game in the trenches. They will dominate this game on the offensive line and the defensive line as well. Okay, I will not sleep on NC State. They did beat Clemson last week, which a lot of people make fun of Clemson for, but Clemson just beat Notre Dame this past season, 31-23. They're our 15th ranked team in the country as well. So anybody, any week can beat anybody. All right. So it is just pretty much where we're at. All right. Pretty much where we're at as far as college football goes. Guys that transfer to other schools, there's some 4 or 5 star guys that don't fit a system of a coach. So then they end up going to a different school to get some playing time to better their draft stock, or at least have an opportunity, when they go pro, to not be, pretty much a 6th pick, of the NFL draft. So they go to different schools. Okay, Georgia Tech has some 4-star guys on its roster as well. NC State as well has some 4-star guys on its roster. So let's keep that in mind. It's the transfer portal has changed the game in college football. For Miami to win this game, it's a simple concept. It really is a very simple concept. You run the football very well on offense. You don't make mistakes. You take care of the football. You stretch out that defense. We have the wide receivers to go vertical. You involve your tight ends. I know it's a stretch because the tight ends haven't been doing anything, but the tight ends are such a good weapon we have. I don't know how Royal is today. I haven't checked his injury report, but Riley Williams, okay, we haven't seen Jalil Skinner yet. I like to see him involved. The tight ends are good because they're a mismatch for any linebacker in the ACC. These guys are very difficult to cover. They're highly athletic. And I also want to get our backs involved, which can be very shifty in space and can pretty much break it for 15, 20, 25 yards and be very damaging. I'm good with our wide receivers, all right? I'm good with Colby Young. Jacoby George has been balling. I'm good with Restrepo. He's been good in the slot as well. So I'm good. I'm good with the wide receivers, but I do wish on offense we get some more guys involved as well. If TVD's hurt, if he still has injuries lingering, he needs to be much more careful with the football. He can't make mistakes like he's been making the last few games, because now you're on the road, right? And NC State will capitalize on those mistakes. You give NC State a short field, they will find the way to score. They did it against Clemson. They drove Cade Klubnik crazy. That's why they were able to score and beat Clemson, because they were pretty good, they're very good on defense, and they forced Cade Klubnik to make mistakes last week. If they do that with TVD, Miami's coming home with an upset loss, but I don't think that will happen. I do think Miami will persevere in this game. Brian Smith over at All Hurricanes has them winning, I think, 31-15. I'm not that optimistic. I do think it will be a tough game, but I do think if the Canes win, it'll be 30-20, around there. I think it'll be either a one-possession game, one possession score, or by a field goal as well, right? But definitely not over 10. I think these teams are a lot closer than we think, but Miami's doing a lot better, this year. Even with all the struggles that we've seen on offense, Miami's numbers have not been that bad. Against Georgia Tech, Miami put up pretty good numbers. Against North Carolina, and I don't buy the garbage time thing, because they still were playing coverage. That's why Brashard Smith got open, in the latter part of the game. We have good numbers as well. Only in the Virginia game, I will say our numbers were quite porous. All right, that Virginia literally did outplay us on the offensive side of the ball. Okay, Toby, I hope so too, because if it's 37-10, I could chill. Because the Canes, I'll be honest with you, they make me nervous. They make me nervous. Okay, I don't get this way with the Dolphins. All right, I lay back and watch the game with the Dolphins. But the thing is, college football is so intense, and one game means so much in college football, that when I watch college football, I do get a bit more intense with the Canes than I do with my home Dolphins here as well. So yeah, Toby, I hope it's 37-10. I hope I'm absolutely wrong. I hope we turn over Morris like crazy. I hope, we get some fumbles, or we get a short field. Hope TVD just throws for 400 yards. We run for like 180, 200, and we can go home and just chill. That's what I really want, out of this game tonight. Okay. Ladies and gents, all right, we're less than an hour away from game time. Please feed me your comments, feed me your points. I really want to hear them. All right. I really want to hear them. Oh, I actually want to read them. All right. As well, I'd like to get the conversation going. All right. NC State, Miami. Tell me, what do you think? All right. What do you think? I want to know from all of you out there in the online YouTube, Twitter world as well. Once again, ladies and gents, if you didn't see my Ruben Bain, piece, give it a look. Okay, it's pretty much break down Ruben Bain. I go over videos as well with Ruben. Okay, with Ruben as well. We'll see. I also wanted, like I said, through that video. I'm sorry, I'm just reading Toby's question. I do want to see. I do want to give a bit of a shout out to the family of okay, Otto Liler. Okay, Otto Liler again, who's known as War Beast. He passed away, recently, and great Canes fan, very active on Twitter, very good with us, and so on as far as it goes. You know, so that's pretty much again, my condolences to his family. Um, Great guy, family man, again, veteran as well. Much respect to him and what he brought, to our country, and what he brought as well to Canes Fear. Toby Boland, what do I think about FSU resting its players? You mean the sick players, like I heard about? Um, that's cocky out of them. If they really want to do that because they don't respect their opponent, I hope to get their tail whooped for doing something like that. As I mentioned to you, everything's week to week. Any team can beat anybody at any given time. We've seen some upsets in college football. So if FSU is resting in their players, I hope they get their butts kicked, man. I hope they get their butts kicked. You know what? I want you guys at full strength because when we, if we go up in Tallahassee and beat you, I want to say that we beat you because you had a full squad, not because you rested your players because of injury. So I really hope Miami, not Miami. I really hope that FSU gets his butt whipped. Tonight. I really do hope so because again, that's a disrespect. To the school that they're playing against. As well. So I really do think that if they're doing that kind of stuff, they should really, recognize the fact that, that's going on. But you know what? They're beating Pitt. Okay, 24-7 at the moment, the fourth quarter. So it worked out for them. It's going to end up working out for them. But, I wasn't watching the game, Toby. But thank you so much for bringing that up. But I don't think that you should rest your players just because you want to rest them. I think they should be allowed to play, as well. I mean, they want to rest up. That's how cocky they are and so on. But again, I really don't think that the FSU should have done that. I heard they were sick. But they're beating Pitt pretty strongly. There's only about I think let's look at right here. A little over 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So I think that FSU will wrap up this game and prepare next week for a showdown against your Miami Hurricanes. Okay, ladies and gents. All right, guys. If you have no more questions, that's it for me. That's it for me. If you like what you heard, please do not forget to subscribe, like, and share. 305 Sports Now. Once again, I am Will. Stay safe. God bless you soon. If you have any more questions, I will stay on, though. Okay, I will stay on. All right, but if not, have a wonderful evening. God bless. Okay, go Canes. Let's hope Ruben Bain brings the pain once again. And let's hope TVD just lights it up. I want to see him light it up. And I want to see some more ball spreading, okay, as well. Okay. Danny. Okay, this is my buddy Danny. Okay, you missed the final score. I gave it. Okay, I predicted Brian Smith over at All Hurricanes. I think said 31-15. I think it's gonna be closer. So I'm more of the 28-21, 31-21 range. I do think Miami, because of the fact that they're really struggling on offense. I'm talking about NC State really struggling on offense. The defense should have a field day if they're able to neutralize sophomore quarterback MJ Morris as well. Okay, Christopher as well. So give me a second. I'll get to you, Chris, in a minute. Yeah, so that's what I think. So I think it's about 31-21. Christopher Valdez. Gee, I wonder who that is. Who do I have against LSU versus Alabama? I still pick Bama. I don't sleep on Nick Saban. I think Alabama's better than what they're giving. Yeah, I hope so too, Toby. I agree with you, but I think it's Bama. I think Bama's still a very good, well-coached football team, and I think they have a shot, right, to beat LSU. right, as well. So again, Toby, and again, Chris, thank you so much for participating as well here live at 305 Sports Now. So yeah, so 31-21 or 28-21, I predict for today's game against NC State. Again, much respect to Otto Liler's family. Thank you very much. And Miami, just protect the football. If Miami protects the football, this should be fine. Okay. We should really protect the football. That's what I think. Miami versus Kansas City. I know Chris is a Dolphin fan. Yeah. Although we're doing Canes today, I will say, um, I don't know the status of Xavier Howard. That's gonna be a key difference. I don't think that Kansas City this year, as far as wide receivers go, is playing pretty well. So I do think that Miami could win this game. It's on a neutral site over in Germany. KC flew out later. I think Kansas City flew out yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. The time change in Europe, is very different than the one here. I should know. I've been to Europe before. The Dolphins flew out in Monday, which is a smart move, I believe. I do think the Dolphins can win tomorrow. I do think Tua's gonna have a good game. This is a game where Tyreek Hill really wants the ball out, so expect a lot of Tyreek tomorrow as well. And I do think that they could run the ball well if they control the line of scrimmage. It's gonna be a little hard because Miami is banged up. The Dolphins are banged up the offensive line position, but I do think Miami, if they control the line of scrimmage, they could win this football game. Control Chris Jones. That's the guy you need to watch out for. Control Chris Jones, and you're in good shape. But I do think Miami. I think Tua's gonna have a good game tomorrow. I really do believe he's gonna have a good game tomorrow. I think he's gonna light it up over there in Germany, in Frankfurt. Toby had one more comment. What about on you? I did a short. All right, I did a short on him. Okay, pretty much Mr. Markel, right, the big giant, right, out of Missouri. Okay, out of Cleveland, Missouri. That kid, if you guys haven't seen him, the guy is as an absolute monster. Okay, he's a big dude. Right, the offensive lineman Markel Bell in general, 6'8", 340 pounds. How are you gonna get by that guy? I mean, like, all he has to do is this. All he has to do is spread his arms out, and that's it. Like, how are you gonna get around that guy? By the time you get around, okay, Markel's arms, that ball's gone. Whoever the quarterback is, okay, if it's TVD next year, or if it's Judd Anderson, if it's Emery Williams, or in the future, if it's Luke Nickel, I really don't know how you get around that guy. I mean, he is just going to be an absolute beast. So yeah, so that's a big one, man. Let me slow down. I got another question. Yeah, Toby, I'm glad you appreciate it. Yeah, so that's a big dude, man. That's a big dude. So I again appreciate all of you for coming on. I appreciate all of you participating. I had a lot of fun on this live pregame. I'll probably do more of these as well. Since Chalupa Batman has got halftime, and I know that you heard guys like we're dabbling with post game, as well. I'll do the pregame, as well. So yeah. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for me. All right, I'm gonna get ready for the game, all right, as well. So have a good evening, guys. God bless. See you soon. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for all your commentary as well. I greatly appreciate it. God bless, guys. See you soon. Go Canes. Go Canes. Go Canes. Oh, before I go, tomorrow morning, flip watch, right? Flip watch, okay? Flip watch. And since you guys tuned in online, my flip is Jordan Lyle. I'm predicting an absolute flip. Flip. All right, for Jordan Lyle. I think he's going to leave the Buckeyes and become a Miami Hurricane. But watch that special tomorrow morning. I will be going over it. Since you're on live, you heard the live show, you got the scoop right here. All right, ladies and gents, thank you, Chris Gonzalez. I got to give him a shout out. This guy has been one of my best listeners for the longest time since I started 305 Sports Now. Thank you so much, Chris. Yes, go Canes. We'll beat NC State. And Toby, stay tuned for that one. I know you're curious. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you, Chris Valdez, for participating as well. Bye, guys.